This is all my cat has been doing for the last 10 minutes since I've gotten this package. And this is what he wants. Oh yeah? You gonna get them packing peanuts? Oh yeah, oh yeah. He loves the packing peanuts. You can't have the peanuts. Oh my god. It is so freaking hot outside. How is tomorrow the first day of fall? Is anyone else feeling fall yet? It is literally 100 degrees outside. It teased us and gave us like a week or two of nice weather, and now we're back to this. I'm so done with summer. I'm ready. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. We are gonna be doing an unboxing of all of the polishes that I got from the Zoya, I don't think it's an Earth Day sale, it's just like the exchange of some kind. They normally do this exchange during the Earth Day sale, but the Earth Day sale is usually in like April. So this is just kind of like, they just called it an exchange of some kind. But it's the same kind of premise where you return, you know, you get rid of some of your crappier, chemically ridden nail polishes, and you exchange them for Zoya polishes, and you can either return them to Zoya and they give you instructions on how to return them, or you can just take part in the sale and then be on the honor system as far as getting rid of your polishes. So that's what we're going over today. I think I got 12 new polishes from Zoya, so I'm really excited to see these. So the first half is gonna be me unboxing them. I just got this in the mail today. Obviously, they're still in the box. So I'm not gonna be able to tell you anything about like formula and all that jazz. What I'm gonna do is kind of take them out of the box, look at them, and then once I've had a chance to edit this video, I'll do some swatches and I'll, you know, put them up here on the screen. But the second half of this video, I will, once I've unboxed all of these polishes, I will go ahead and look through my collection and see what I already have there that might be similar, so we can kind of talk about whether I have dupes, whether these are close to anything that I already have in my collection. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, I need to get rid of all of these friggin' packing peanuts because my cat is going absolutely insane. As you can see from the intro, he has been doing nothing but trying to, like, as soon as I brought this back in the house, he's been sniffing this package waiting to like get into the packing peanuts. And I don't know if these are like the old school packing peanuts where they were like chemically like styrofoamy, or if these are like the new like biodegradable, you know, like eco-safe ones. I feel like with Zoya, I feel like these probably are, but I still don't want him chewing on them, so I'm gonna jump and get rid of those real fast. All right, I got through a good majority of those packing peanuts. They stuffed them to the brim, so I still have some in here, but for the most part, they are gone. So first off, they gave me one of these kind of like, I don't know what they call these, but I've started keeping these. I used to just throw these away, but recently I've started keeping them, especially now that I'm doing YouTube videos. I feel like these are going to be useful to kind of show as swatches for maybe polishes that I don't already have in my collection. I bought this entire collection, so I don't know if this is going to be particularly useful, but I think I'm going to keep it anyway just to be on the safe side. So this is kind of like just a little color wheel of the recent fall collection colors, so that's cool. And then usually with most of my orders, I usually make a large enough order that I always get a small little bottle of the the Remove Plus nail polish remover, which is my favorite by far. It's the only one that I use. I have the really humongo bottle, so I just usually take these and just kind of like add them in as you know, add it in as some refill. All right, anything else in here? No, just packing peanuts. Hopefully the cat's not gonna attack me while I'm trying to film this. All right, so we've got 2 boxes of polishes. And let's go ahead and get started here. I don't know which one I want to go through first. Let's just go through this one. All right, first polish up. This is the last of the scattered hollows that I don't have in my collection, and that is Blaze. And Blaze is the scattered hollow that's got like a cranberry red base to it. I'm really excited to try this. Like I said, I have all of them except for Blaze, so this is the last in the collection. So excited about that one. Next up is Lotus. And Lotus is kind of your dusty, medium-toned purple, but this one I believe has, yes. I don't know if the light's gonna catch it because I am working with a sun that's going down, but this has a beautiful pink sheen, pink shimmer in here. This is, I feel like, ooh, I think that might have caught it. I'm getting sunlight reflecting on the camera, so I can't tell exactly, but this has just a really beautiful pink shimmer going throughout the polish, so I am super excited about trying this guy. This has been one of those where I kind of always see it on the, you know, has anyone else, this is gonna be on a tangent, but has anyone else, does anyone else like the way Zoya has redone their website? I don't like the way they've kind of arranged the colors now to where like all of the colors are just kind of like in the center, and then on the left-hand side, as you click on each color, the bottle will pop up. I hate that. That's not a really good way to browse the website. I used to just like how I could just scroll down the entire page and I could see each bottle of polish. Now it's like a pain in the ass. I gotta click each color. Like, that is no way to browse. Like, I know they have like the narrowing kind of facets there on the left-hand side if I want to narrow down my selection, but half the time, you know, I'm not searching for a particular color. I'm not searching for a particular formula. I just want to browse through the polishes that I don't have. So their revamp of the website, I hate it. Does anyone else hate it? Because I hate it. It drives me insane. But anyway, Lotus has been one of those polishes that has been in and out of my shopping cart, and I've never bit the bullet to buy it, mostly because I have like 14 bazillion purples, and, you know, at some point I have to be like, I think you have every color of purple. But I decided I needed this color of purple. So that is Lotus. Next up is Claire. And Claire is, looking at it, it was hard to tell on the website. This is another one that's been in and out of my shopping cart several times. On the website, this appeared to me to be kind of like an oxblood color. Oh, you can't eat the packing peanuts. Dang it, cat. All right. So on the website, this kind of looks like an oxblood red. Looking at it now in person, this has a lot more brown in it. So I would definitely say it's probably an oxblood, but once I get it on my fingers, I feel like it's going to have a lot more brown. So I don't know, maybe like a chocolate covered cherry, maybe? Anyway, you'll see the swatch and yeah. So I'm excited for this. This looks like this is a lot more of a different color than I thought it was gonna be. So I'm actually kind of excited about that. So that's Claire. Cat, you can't have the packing peanuts. Mwah. Okay. He has like a bazillion other toys in this house, and yet he wants to play with the friggin' packing peanuts. I don't understand it. All right. Next up is Mason. And Mason was a complete impulse purchase. I think like the day before, or maybe the day of, right before I placed my sale, I think Zoya did an Instagram post with this color. And the swatch photo that they posted was just amazing. I'd never heard about this color. I'd never really looked at this color. Oh, now looking at it in the bottle, I'm super excited about it. So this is, I would say it, man, it's gonna be a purple, but it's got this like magenta fuchsia. I don't know the difference between those two. I want to say magenta is more red. Is that right? I promise I'm going to learn all my colored variations here eventually. But anywho, so this is a purple, and it's got this really amazing shimmer in there, and it's kind of just like a bright pink, and it's almost got like a duochromeness, because I see like on the edges of the bottle almost like is it like a reddish gold almost? So yeah, I'll show you, obviously you're gonna see a swatch photo here, but the photo they put on their Instagram post just made me buy this. So I'm really excited to try this. That is again Mason. Next up is Tina. And Tina was again one of those purples where I'm like, I have a bazillion purples, I don't need another purple. But again, I went ahead and bought it. Half off Zoya's, like, so I got this. In the next half, when we talk about my dupes, or about my, you know, colors I already have in my collection, I'm hoping this is different enough, because the reason I kind of held off on buying this was because I have Perry and I also have Lois, and This I feel like is pretty dang close to both of those, so I'm hoping this is not close enough to where I can't warrant having it in my collection, because I have it now. All right, so that is Tina. And looking at it in the bottle now, it looks like it's a lot more purple, and I feel like Perry and Lois have a little bit more pink to them, so I think I'm probably gonna be able to keep this. And you know, I'm gonna have a good conscience that I purchased it, you know, knowing I didn't have a dupe of this. So that is Tina. And then the last one in this bottle is Ryan. And Ryan I've held off on purchasing because I have Sailor, which is a kind of a navy blue as well, so we'll compare that in the next half. Looking at the swatches, I feel like Ryan is going to be a lot deeper, so is Sailor deeper than Ryan? One of them is deeper than the other one, so I looked at enough swatches to feel like I could justify having this one, so we'll look at the comparisons here shortly. And this is just like just a dark navy. It's one of those where I've heard people say like it's a dark navy, but it's where it's still navy on the nail and not black, which is what I prefer. So that is Sailor. Let me organize my polishes here. Okay, and then the last box, this is Neely. And Neely is a mint green. I had to just throw away my my other mint green that I had, the bottle, the formula. I'd had it for a really long time and it was pretty much dead. It was all like goopy and gross, and it wasn't a nice enough polish to where I could warrant like putting thinner in it and, you know, trying to make it work. So I went ahead and tossed it, and I was on the hunt for a new one, so I got Neely, and this is looking a lot more mint green, which is, I'm happy about that, because in the swatches that I saw online and on the website, this was looking a little bit more like green than I was wanting. I was wanting this mint green, so I'm really excited about this. I'm glad that this is the color that I wanted. So that is Neely. Just kind of your basic mint green. Looks really pretty. And then the other green that I got is Wyatt. And Wyatt came out last fall, and this is more, I held off on getting this because I have Hunter, but Hunter is obviously a hunter green, and once I looked at enough swatches, I feel like this is a lot more, it's got like a little bit of a blue tint to it. It's kind of like that British racing green that you see people talk about. You know, it's got a little bit more of a blue to it, so I feel like that is going to be really pretty. Excited about that. Next one is Mallory. And Mallory is just a really pretty kind of, you know, is that like a royal blue? I'd say this is kind of like a royal blue. I've heard this is a stainer, but yeah, I don't really have anything in my collection. I don't think that's close to this, so I was ready for, I've been getting much more into blues. If you've been watching some of my videos, I've been mentioning that blue was one of the polishes that I was never really a blue polish wearer, and now I'm getting used to and really enjoying wearing blues, so I'm adding a lot of blues and greens too. Blues and greens I think are polishes that I don't wear a lot of. So I'm slowly growing my collection of blues and greens, so this is just to add to that collection. So again, that is Mallory. And then next up is Laurel. And Laurel is a really pretty kind of salmony pink. I have its kind of sister polish. I think these came out like last spring. Not this recent spring, but the spring before that. I'm trying to think of what came out this spring. Maybe it came out this spring. I swear, it wasn't that long ago, and yet I can't remember what happened. I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night. Oh man, where's the time go? Anywho, this came out either this spring or last spring, and I have its sister polish, which is Tulip. Tulip is a little bit more, they're both kind of salmony pinks, but Tulip is a little bit more peachy, whereas this one's a little bit more pink. So we'll compare those in a few minutes, but I really like this. When these came out, and Tulip, since I already have that, the formulas on these aren't amazing. They're a little hard to work with, but I'll put up with it for the color. This has a very subtle, both this one and Tulip have a very subtle gold shimmer in them, but they don't translate to the nail. You're not going to see them. But I just wanted kind of like a dainty, I don't have a lot of like salmony pinks. I tend to, like most of my collection is either like baby pinks, maybe like one or two Barbie pinks, and then it goes right into coral. So I don't have any of these like kind of like in between peachier pinks, so I just wanted to add one to my collection. So that is Laurel. And then two more, let's see. So this one is Zoey. And Zoey has appeared on a couple people's kind of favorites lists, so I wanted to go ahead and add it. This is a Pixie Dust, so if you're not familiar, that's kind of just Zoya's, you know, matte textured polish finish, which is really, really nice. It kind of dries down to a matte. And so this is kind of, it's gonna be a pink, little bit of a salmony pink, kind of similar to Laurel that we just saw, but maybe a little bit more pink, a little bit more saturated of a pink. And this has, is that a gold or a silver? I want to say it's a gold. It's got a gold shimmer going throughout, as well as some holographic glitters in there. So this I'm really excited about. I heard a lot of people say good things. I'm hoping I'm gonna like this a little bit better. If recently, a couple months ago, I think at the beginning of summer, I purchased what is that polish? Harper, and I didn't enjoy Harper as much as I'd like. So I think this might be. We'll see how it goes and see if I like this a little bit more than that one, because they're pretty close. I think we'll compare those here in a second, but obviously the finishes on both of these are going to be, on both of them are a little bit different, but I think the color is pretty close. So that is Zoey. And then the last polish is Dree. And Dree is one of those really ugly kind of puke green colors, a little green with a lot of yellow in it. Get out of the friggin'... Why? Why? You can't see him. He's standing over here trying to eat the friggin' packing peanuts again. Anywho, Dree is this beautiful, ugly, pretty green, yellow green. Really excited about this. I've been really getting into these colors since I got Arbor. And I've, again, been growing my green collection. And I have really been enjoying these kind of like ugly colors. So I think this will be really pretty for fall. So that's Dree. And that is all the polishes I got. So let's go ahead and move into the comparisons section, and I will show you what I have in my collection. All right, so I went ahead and pulled some polishes, and like I said, so I've pulled some polishes out of my collection that I feel are close to these polishes, and hopefully this is helpful for you guys. I feel like my camera's pretty good with catching color, but like I've said in other videos, I feel like for me sometimes it's helpful to look at a polish that I might already have and compare it to a polish that I want to buy, and sometimes that helps me kind of get a better grasp on the color and helps me determine whether or not it's something I want to buy. So that's kind of what I, you know, that's what I kind of look for in YouTube videos when people are kind of like discussing colors and their favorites. I kind of like want to see, well, what does it look like next to this? And what does it look like next to this? Because I just feel like I'm a visual learner, and I you know, pick things up visually, so seeing the colors next to each other I think really helps me get a better determination of what the color looks like. So that's what we're gonna do. I will start out with the one polish that I could not duplicate in my collection, and that is Mallory. Like I said, I don't have very many of these like cobalt kind of blues, so these are, like I said, I'm kind of growing my blue collection, so this is the only polish that I could not dupe in the collection. So that is Mallory. And then I'm just gonna kind of grab here. So the first polish to compare is gonna be Wyatt. That's that British Racing Green. And the one that I mentioned previously that I thought, you know, this was the reason I kind of held off on buying it, that is Hunter. So there's Hunter up against that. So you see the Hunter's obviously, you know, a hunter green, so it's going to be a lot more deeper. It's got a lot more darkness to it, so you can really see how much like of a little bit of a blue that Wyatt has in it. And so they're definitely not close. The one thing, cat, for the love of God, the one color that I did find that was kind of close, this is Ness. And Ness obviously is a little bit lighter, but I feel like the color is a little bit like in similar tones. I feel like they both got a little bit of a blue to them. So that is all of them. And then next up is going to be Neely, and Neely was that mint green that I purchased. And like I said, I threw away the only other mint green that I had, so the closest thing that I have in my collection, which I feel like is pretty close, is going to be Tiana. And hopefully the camera is picking that up, but you can see Tiana is a lot more, it's a lot brighter. It definitely has a lot more green in it. So this is going to be, Tiana's going to be a pistachio green, whereas Neely's going to be much more of a kind of grayed out mint. Still a mint, but a little bit more of a gray to it. So there's that. And then the other one that I had a really hard time comparing in my collection is Lotus. And Lotus is a a dustier purple. I have a lot of dusty purples, but they tend to either be like a very pale purple. So I didn't really have anything that was like kind of medium toned like this, almost like taupey. So the only thing that I could kind of compare it to is Malia. And Malia is probably the only other like kind of mid-tone purple that I have in my collection. So I don't think these are close enough. You know, I just wanted to kind of give you at least something to compare it to. So as you can see, looking at Lotus up against Malia, you can definitely tell that it's got a lot more gray to it. It's definitely almost taupey-ish in nature, and it also has that shimmer that I was mentioning earlier. So definitely not close, but hopefully that will help you kind of get a better idea of what this color is going to look like. And again, this has got kind of like a gold shimmer going throughout it. So I'm sorry, it was a pink shimmer that goes through that. So I'm really excited about that. And then next up is going to be Mason. And Mason, like I was mentioning before, has like almost like a duochrome quality to it. So I'm not gonna have anything that's gonna be similar in finish. But the closest thing that I did have is Haven. And Haven is definitely pretty close in color. I feel like looking at it on the camera, it's maybe a little bit, I feel like they're pretty close. I think maybe like the shimmer in Mason might be giving it a little bit more of a, making it look a little bit, but yeah, I think the base on these is pretty dang close. The only difference here is Haven, which is here, has like a metallic finish, just like a straight up just purple metallic. Oh my gosh, did I have, no, that's right, okay. They're so close that I can't tell the difference. Okay, so yeah, Haven's gonna have like a little bit of a metallic to it, whereas Mason has a shimmer, like a sheen. Yeah, so yeah, these are pretty close. Once I get these on the nail, I'm hoping these are gonna be a little bit more different, because these are, looking at them in the bottle, obviously the finishes are slightly different, so I'm hoping like the finishes on the nail are gonna look different enough to where I can justify these two, because Haven is one of my favorite polishes in my collection when it comes to Zoya's. So I'm hoping those are gonna be different enough to justify having them both. So there's those. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to compare Mason to one more color, just so you can get an idea of what this purple looks like. So up against, this is Aurora. And so, so you can see that I'm getting all these names mixed up. Mason's gonna have a little bit more red in it. And yeah, so yeah, it's got like a slight, yeah, so I think it's also that shimmer too that's in there. So Mason looks a little bit more red here than it does to Aurora, so there is that. And then next up is gonna be Zoey. And Zoey, as I was mentioning earlier, I think is pretty close to a polish I already have in my collection, which is Harper. Yes, Harper. And so once I pulled it out of my collection, I was so surprised at how pink Harper was, because I thought these were going to be a lot more close than I thought. So they're definitely close when it comes to that glittery, like the finish that's in here. It's a very similar kind of micro glitter and shimmer that's in these, but Zoey is a lot more, definitely a lot less pink, almost has like an orangey quality to it looking at it up against Harper here. So I'm actually really excited that these aren't that close, because Harper, one of the reasons I didn't like Harper was because it was like super pink, which is not one of my favorite colors to wear. So now I'm really excited about this, so I'm hoping this is going to look really pretty. So that is that. And then the other one that we've got here, so again, this is Ryan. And Ryan up against the one that I thought was going to be super close, which is Sailor. They are pretty close, but as you can tell, Ryan is a lot more darker. Sailor is definitely a little lighter, and almost, looking at them in the bottle, they look pretty dang close. But for crazy nail polish people like us, I feel like Sailor is a little bit more grayed out. They're both definitely navies, but I feel like this almost has like a steely kind of quality to it. It's a little bit dustier. It's got a little bit of gray in it, I feel like. And then this one is kind of just your straight Ryan's just your straight up like navy cream. So they're pretty close. Hopefully when I get the swatches on, I'm gonna see whether or not these are close enough to where I can justify having both, because that's why I held off so long on getting Ryan. But oh, Ryan's so pretty. So hopefully those aren't gonna be too close. And then I did want to compare this to the blue that came out in the most recent fall collection, which is Hadley. And Hadley has a lot more green in it, but I don't think these are close enough, but I just wanted to compare because I'm sure some of you guys might have picked this up. And actually I've heard from several people, I still haven't worn this Hadley yet, but most people are saying that Hadley's gonna be pretty close to a black on the nail. So here's all three just to kind of, these are so hard to hold. So yeah, Hadley almost looks black on the nail, so that definitely shows you how much more of like a richer blue that Ryan is, because as I mentioned, most people say Ryan is still blue looking on the nail, whereas I've heard that Hadley's gonna look a lot more black on the nail unless you're like in direct sunlight. So there is those. Okay, moving along. Okay. All right, and then the next one that I want to compare to is Blaze. And I'm not gonna be able to compare this because I don't have another scattered holographic. Obviously that's this color, but as far as color purposes, if you want to get an idea of what this base looks like, the closest thing that I had in my collection is Vanessa. And I feel like on the screen this is looking a lot less. Yeah, I feel like Vanessa looks a lot brighter in the camera than it actually is in real life. In real life, these are pretty close. Obviously Blaze has that holographic, whereas Vanessa is a cream. I would say Blaze has a little bit more of like a black, like a blackened base, so it's going to be more, they're both, you know, red obviously, but I feel like there's a little bit of a darkness here. Obviously you can see that in the camera, but I feel like it's distorting it slightly. There is a little bit more of a darkness here in Blaze, whereas this is a little bit more just like of a brighter kind of berry, leaning more red, like wine color. But they're pretty close in real life. Like I said, I think this is, the color's kind of getting a little bit distorted, but for color comparisons, that is the closest thing that I have in my collection to Blaze. And then for Dree, closest thing is Arbor. And these are pretty close. If you don't wear these shades very often, I would say this is probably not a color, you probably don't need both of these. But as you can see here, Dree's got a little bit more yellow to it. It's a little bit more like pukey, whereas Arbor is a little bit more of like a tree kind of mossy green. They both have yellow, but I feel like Dree's got a lot more yellow in it, and almost maybe like a brown kind of. But yeah, I'm excited about this color. But yeah, if you don't wear these a lot, or you know, if you don't really like you know, ugly pretty colors, I would say Arbor might be more your style. But I'm pretty excited about wearing Dree. I think it's gonna be like really nice during the fall time. And let's see, who is this? Who are you? Okay, so Tina is the next one to compare to. I do have a couple colors. Like I said, I wear purple a lot, so I do have a few colors that I can compare this to. So the two that I was worried were going to be super close to this is, one of them is Liv. And so you can obviously see, and as I was mentioning earlier, Liv has a lot more pink in it. It's a lot more of an orchid than Tina, so that's cool. I'm excited about that. And the other one that I thought was going to be close was Perry. And so there you go. Those all three of them there for you. So if you were holding off on Tina is a lot more purple than either of these guys. It's almost, I wonder if I should, I feel like it's kind of a mid-tone purple. If you want to see it up against, yeah, so maybe not mid-toned, but yeah, there's it up against Malia that I was just mentioning earlier. I feel like the pictures of these were really hard to get a good justification. Yeah, and those aren't even close. But yeah, I feel like the swatches I kept seeing of Tina was making it hard for me to determine if it was, you know, close in comparison to other colors. So again, let me show these real quick. So there's all three of those. Definitely not dupes. I think you can justify having all these in your collection if you love purples like I do, which is awesome. The one thing I did have in my collection that I thought was pretty close to this color, but the finish is slightly different. This is Zara, and I think for the bases on these, I think they're pretty close. Zara's is looking slightly more warmer just because it's got a gold shimmer that's running throughout it. So yeah, I think in the camera, I think that gold shimmer in there is making it a little bit more brighter than it normally is. So yeah, I feel like Zara is probably a lot closer in comparison than those other two that I showed. All right, almost there. I think we got a couple more. Okay, the next one in my collection, or in the newest one, is Claire. And as I was mentioning earlier, this is a lot more brown than I had thought it was going to be. It's definitely a red, but it's got a lot of brown in it. So the closest thing that I could find in my collection, and the finish is going to be different. This is India. And as you can see, the bases on these are pretty close. India has a gold, and I want to say like a cranberry. Is that also in there? There's like a reddish shimmer in here too. So there is a shimmer in India. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick that up on the camera. Yeah, you can kind of see. So yeah, definitely the finishes on these aren't going to be the same, but I think the colors are pretty close. If you want to get an idea of how dark this color is. Yeah, these are almost, I'd say the bases on these are pretty much exact. Pretty much exact. So if you have India, that's going to be a good indication of what that color is going to look like. And then if you bought the most recent, if you have this one for the most recent fall collection, this is Mona. If you want to compare those just to get an idea, Mona's got a little bit more, I would say, like a purple in it. So yeah, they're not super close, but I feel like some people might have Mona. So if you wanted to kind of get an idea there is that. I'm really excited about this color. Excited. I'm just excited for fall colors in general. I've finally started wearing some fall shades. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Okay, and then the very last comparison for you is going to be Laurel. And as I was mentioning earlier, the one in my collection that is kind of the sister polish to Laurel is Tulip. And I feel like, yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. So yeah, you can definitely see how much more peach Tulip is here to Laurel. They're pretty close though. I don't know if you would necessarily need both in your collection. I think they're different enough to where I can justify having both. But so yeah, definitely more pink here. And then, so since this is a little bit more peachy, the one thing that I did have in my collection that was somewhat close is Kittredge or Kittredge, depending on what bottle label you have. I feel like Kittredge, the color in the bottle is a little bit hard to, the color in the bottle isn't really what you see on the, I feel like if I, yeah, I guess it's kind of close. My bottle, I don't know if all of the rest of you that have Kittredge, like my bottle of this is like, it's got white, you know, it's starting to like separate on the outside, but the polish is still fine. But yeah, so this is the closest thing I had to it. If you have Kittredge or you've seen Kittredge is much more of like almost a neon pink. But I feel like they're kind of along the same tones. You can definitely see that Laurel has a little bit more of a peach in it. So they're definitely not close, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like. It's not going to be, definitely not as bright and definitely not as chalky as Kittredge, but it's kind of along the same lines. Let me just put it up against Tulip real quick so you can get a general idea of all three of those for color. So yeah, there is that. All right, that is everything, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Like I said, this is kind of, you know, what helps me when I am choosing Zoya polishes. So I am really glad that a lot of these aren't super close so that I can justify having them in my collection. Did you guys pick anything up from the Zoya sale? Let me know what you're picking up. What did you like? Did you have any hits, misses, you know, that sort of thing. So again, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.